What is up, guys, and welcome back into a brand new Rams House video. Boy, let me tell you, it's been a while since I've said those words, but I'm so happy to be back with you guys, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. So today I'm going to be discussing why I believe this Rams offense can be very lethal this year, and specifically lean into why I believe they are going to be a very 12 personnel team this year. I'm absolutely not alone in thinking that the Rams are going to use 12 personnel at an even higher rate this year than what we've seen under McVay, because there have been tons of Rams fans this year leaning into the concept of the fact that the Rams will probably be running a lot more 12 personnel. But really, as I've looked around, there hasn't been a ton of people discussing why they are going to run more 12 personnel other than the fact that Terrence Ferguson was drafted this year. And yes, while the Rams do have very good depth at tight end, I don't believe that that is the only reason that the Rams are going to be leaning into 12 personnel. I think there's a lot more reasons that people really haven't been discussing, and I want to discuss those with you today. So yeah, as I was just alluding to, the Rams do have very good depth at tight end. I would argue it's the best depth that they've had under Sean McVay. Leading the way is Tyler Higbee, and then Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen, and then of course Terrence Ferguson, who was just drafted this year. That is a very good group, very solid group of tight ends that you have across the board. And so this is obviously one of the reasons why a lot of people are kind of cluing into the fact that they're going to be 12 personnel. But again, I believe that there are some other reasons that are pointing to it and that have been kind of hinting at it for the last couple of years that I want to get into with you. So a big one is the departure of Cooper Kupp. Obviously, we're sad to see him leave, especially going to Seattle. Happy for him, but sad for us because I wish he wouldn't have gone to a divisional rival. But I bring up Cooper Kupp and the fact that I don't know how many of you guys have listened to the Play Caller series done by Jordan Rodriguez. Very well done. I definitely recommend that you guys check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. It is very good. But she mentioned it, and a few other beat reporters mentioned it. Heading into 2017, the Rams were wanting to be a very 12 personnel team under Sean McVay in his first year. Obviously, they drafted Cooper Kupp that year. They brought in Robert Woods, and there was a lot of change happening. But as training camp got underway, they realized they could not keep Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods off the field with the other weapons that they had. Sean McVay did want to lean into that 12 personnel offense, but with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods being kind of those mix and blends between a tight end and a wide receiver, and what that allows you to do on the offensive side of the ball when you can be in 11 personnel and have more of those speedy weapons, but they can do things like tight ends, like chip blocking, going in the A and B gaps, and doing all the things that tight ends can do very well. They could both do those things at the wide receiver position, which provided the Rams with a great advantage. And so basically, since Cooper Kupp has been here, we have seen that take place. We've been a very 11 personnel heavy Rams offense, and that has just been the style that the Rams have leaned into with the kinds of receivers that they've had, like Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, even Jordan Whittington that was just drafted last year can do a lot of those things very well, and obviously Puka Nacua. That has just been the Rams style. But with Cooper Kupp leaving and the addition of Terrence Ferguson, as well as a fact that people don't bring up enough, I believe, Sean McVay, before he was the Rams head coach, was a tight ends coach in Washington. And over the last couple of years, they've really tried to buy into and invest into a tight end in the draft, with Dalton Kincaid and Brock Bowers being the kinds of players that have been linked to the Rams on draft day, them trying to trade up for them. So there's obviously been an interest with the tight end position, and the Rams have been trying to solidify that. And then now you add in Terrence Ferguson on top of the investment of Colby Parkinson last year, and how deep the tight end room is, along with McVay's coaching background as a tight ends coach and what he wanted to do in that first year. You can kind of see where these things are coming together. Now with 12 personnel, you can really take advantage of things and help with blocking in the run game. You can also get some great play action passes off of it and add in additional protection, which I think will be needed this year with AJ Jackson likely missing a lot of time due to the blood clots. I think you're going to need to have more of those compact 12 personnel packages to give Stafford a little bit more time and let him work in some play action. Play action for Matthew Stafford last year, he had a 9 touchdown to 0 interception ratio. It was very successful for them, and Sean McVay really does like play action. And so that, on top of AJ Jackson being out, on top of the investment into the tight ends, kind of suggests that they're going to be leaning into that 12 personnel. And then additionally, with the depth that we have at running back with guys like Tyron Williams, Blake Corum, with Ronnie Rivers, Darquez Hunter, you could really run the ball a lot if you wanted to, or you could get into that play action offense. There's a lot of different things that you can do. I believe the 12 personnel leaning into the run game, play action passes, also helps to keep Stafford's longevity as good as we can keep it right now. Obviously, he's an older quarterback, and you want to kind of limit the reps that he can have. I'm still sure he could throw 50 touchdowns in a season. He still has that capability, but to make him not have his arm be worn down as much or take as many hits, the 12 personnel run game play action can make those defensive tackles, those edge rushers, those linebackers not commit so hard onto the pass all the time. And with McVay, obviously they call it the illusion of complexity. He does so much of having one look pre-snap and having like 8-9 different plays come out of it. And so when you couple that with the 12 personnel, all the different varieties that you have at the weapons, from tight end to the running back to wide receiver, there's just a lot the Rams can do. And while I do believe the Rams are going to lean into that 12 personnel this year, I don't believe that 11 personnel is just going to fade out, or anything like the 22 or any other personnel, any other packages is just going to fade out. In fact, I would be very surprised if it was just 12 personnel. The cool thing about this Rams roster is there's so many options that they have, from Puka Nacua to Devontae Adams to Jordan Whittington to Tutu Atwell. You've got so many different kinds of skill sets. Then you look at the tight ends, there's some different kinds of skill sets in there, and even the running backs, different kinds of skill sets. So there's so much versatility and there's so many options that the Rams have that really, depending on the week, they can really change this offense to be from 11 to 12 to 22 personnel, and they can have a bunch of different kinds of assets and weapons utilized from the week-to-week basis, which I believe is going to help them, because each week you're going to face a different opponent and they're going to present different challenges, and they're going to have better players at certain positions and worse players at certain positions, and you can try to take advantage of different things depending on the week. So with the Rams leaning into that 12 personnel, they can also mix in so many different things with the kinds of weapons that they have and the depth that they have, to where they can be a really hard game plan, because they can really morph into whatever they need to for that week. When you can run the ball at a very high success rate and to have some great play action plays in there, and then you mix up your personnel, you got a bunch of different kinds of bodies and skill sets that are coming in at wide receiver, tight end, and running back. And then you have a great leader and great quarterback in Matthew Stafford, top 5, top 6 quarterback in my opinion. And then you have Sean McVay at head coach. This is shaping up to be a really good year offensively for the Rams. Now, I think health is a really big thing for any team, but especially for the Rams. We are not going to want to see any injuries, obviously, any year, but especially along the offensive line, especially with A.J. Jackson likely being out for an extended period of time. We're going to want to keep that protection, give Matthew Stafford as much time to work with as he can, give those running backs a lot of big lanes for them to run through. So health is obviously always a big thing. As they say, health is wealth. But as long as that stays in place, I really think that this Rams offense is going to lean into the 12 personnel, and that they can really morph into whatever they need to for the given week with the talents that they have. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, Terrence Ferguson, Davis Allen, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. There's so much talent on this team. Let's just talk about the offense. I'm excited to see what it all ends up looking like this year. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments below what you think this offense is going to look like this year, who you're most excited to see. I'm guessing a lot of people are going to say Devontae Adams, and rightfully so. That guy's a stud. Before I get out of here, though, I just want to give you guys context on what the channel is likely going to look like for this year, this season in general. I did take a big step away over the last couple of years, mainly just because I was very burnt out. I think the motivation became getting set on views, subscribers, building the channel. Content almost became more of like I have to rather than I get to. Football is always my passion. I didn't like it how it was becoming almost like something that I had to do and like work rather than a passion project, because football I've enjoyed all my life. It's like one of my favorite things, probably the favorite thing for me to do. And so when it became one of those things that I had to do and I felt like my motivation was not in the right spot, I had to take a step away. But I still watched every game of the Rams even when I wasn't making content, and I will always watch all the Rams games whether I'm making content or not. What you can expect going forward is probably not as consistent of content like daily or 3, 4, 5 times a week, but when I feel something on my heart to express on camera to you guys, or when I just feel inspired and motivated to make a video, I'll post it out, and we'll just see what that looks like as the year goes on. But hey, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content, leave a like, and as always, horns up and God bless.